Hi guys, we are back. We're having a fantastic conversation with Tonee, who is trying his hardest to distract me from the point of this conversation. Tonee, the most common question I get, because I'm in corporate finance and we help companies raise capital, established companies raise capital. The biggest, most popular question I get from SMEs is, how do I raise funds? How do I fund my startup? And we don't fund startups. So you seem to have, from a long time ago, been able to fundraise without too much, well, from the outside, it looks like it's without too much stress.
Yeah. Well, that's a lie. It's very stressful.
Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
Well, so some caveats before we talk about fundraising. Number one, if you can build a business without fundraising, do it. Don't build a business fundraising. It's a terrible way to go. You see companies raise 2 million, 3 million, shillings, dollars, billion. What? Don't do that, because that basically means you owe someone.
Yes.
It's a fancy way of saying I have debt. And it's almost as if we are complaining or competing to see who can raise more debt than who else.
Okay.
Why would you compete to raise debt? What the hell is wrong? You know, stop. Just get a business that works.
Yeah.
Find a customer. So first things first, find a customer or find a person. Find the problem they have. Solve the problem.
Find a solution and
make them pay for it. Yeah, it's really
and that
one
they like
plus one.
the solution.
And they like the solution, right?
Yeah.
But then, understandably, there are some places where you can't. Kitabu, for example, would never have been able to get to where we are if we never raised money. So, in my mind, the best way to be able to do this is, first of all, find people in your industry or in your space who have an interest in solving the same problem you do. Don't sell it to somebody who wants to do medicine or somebody who wants to do arts and crafts or agriculture, or that's not what we're doing. So have a very targeted list of people who give money to the things that you do.
Right.
Whether it is funders or grantees or awards or rich families.
And how do you find out where they are?
You ask. And that's the other thing people don't do.
Okay.
People don't ask. Rina, if I wanted money from you, I will ask you.
Yes.
I will come to you and say, hey, look, this is what we're trying to do. This is what we need. Do you know anybody interested in putting money in, or would you like to be able to do it?
Yeah.
Then you would ask, the first thing you would ask me, and this is so strange, the first thing you'd ask me is, will I get my money back?
Yeah.
That's the most important question to
Absolutely.
answer. And the moment you ask me, will I get my money back, my answer means to be either one of the two, yes or no. Then I tell you why. And then once I've told you why, I give you the value that you need from getting your money back or not. So, very practical example. Most of the people who have given me money are not people who have been inclined to give me money for the business I do. They have been inclined to give me money for me. People don't invest in businesses, they invest in the person. So everyone who's giving me money was like, you know what? It's
like
you I trust. I like how you are clear on what you're trying to do. I've never seen anybody else do it. But then based on you, the people you know, how I was introduced to you, your accolades, how much you've done this, and the things that you know, I will give you the money. I know you're going to put it in your business. And even if it fails, I know it's going to fail because you did 100% and it just wasn't meant to work. And those are the kind of things that you do. First, you get somebody, ask them, and make sure you are worthy of getting the money from them. A lot of the times,
how can you make sure you're worthy of getting the money?
Prove to me that if I give you 10,000 shillings, you're going to give it back. Then prove to me if I give you 100,000, you'll give it back. Then prove to me if I give you 1 million, you'll give it back. That's how it works. Nobody has given me a stack load of money at the beginning. I've always gone to somebody and said, I have a very specific need. I have 300,000 shillings of payment I need to make by the end of next week. This is why it is there. This is how long I'm going to get the money back. It's $3,000 to those who are doing it in dollars, which is predominantly what happens. Yeah. They give me the 3,000 and they wait quietly and smile for a month. It is more important for me to pay that 3,000 shilling debt than to pay a $3 million debt. Yeah. Because this is the first encounter with, it's your first date. It's your first engagement. And that's why people confuse entrepreneurship fundraising, they see in the news and on TV, with what they're doing. People like Ken Njoroge of Cellulant, who raised a couple of 100 million shillings not too long ago, has been doing it for 9 years. I was with him when we used to sit in a warehouse in Lavington, and his team was of 9 people. Cellulant now is a juggernaut of a company. And I remember him coming in the morning before me, and I used to get there at 8 and leaving after me, and doing this so consistently that a lot of the people who put money in him have seen him do this for 10 years. They just sat there and watched him for 10 years to see if he's genuine. Now Kitabu is going on its 7th year. There are people who have been sitting on the sidelines just watching.
7th year?
7th year. So when you go to someone...
hang on, what does that mean?
It means that you're consistent?
No. For 7 years. Because you've not yet launched, right? So what do you mean when you say Kitabu has been going at it for 7 years? You see, because that's important information. Because when I look at entrepreneurs in this part of the world, I want to start something now. And even me. I want to start something now so that next month or
You're a
in 3
millionaire.
months, of course.
That's why you fail.
Right? So can you please help me understand how you can be going at something for 7 years and it's not yet launched?
Best advice I ever got was from Larry Page, who started Google.
Yeah.
I was at his house having breakfast. Very
You had
randomly.
breakfast with Larry Page.
His wife made me breakfast.
Oh, what?
And he said something very fun. He said, when I asked him, what did it take to launch Google? He says, it was the longest overnight success of my life. And that made a lot of sense, didn't it?
Right.
Because this guy's worked for 6 years before this thing could really, people didn't see that great. Now here, we don't have
I think
time
even
money to do
Amazon
it.
has the same story.
The same story. This guy was doing it for 20-something years.
21.
People know him now.
Yeah.
Now when he's 21 years. 21 years.
Yeah.
And then you think you're going to start something that's going to blow up like Uber did in a couple of years. It doesn't work that way. What we are doing, I always try to use the palm tree as a good example. When you plant, there are specific types, not all of them, but there's a type of palm tree that when you plant it for the first 6.5 years, nothing comes out.
Yeah. Even
It
bamboo
grows-
is like
bamboo is
that.
like that. It grows down. It never grows up first. Kitabo is a kind of solution where the day we launch it, you need to be prepared to get one user tomorrow, or 100,000, or 100 million.
Yeah.
You cannot launch something and then it stutters. You cannot make that mistake. You can't undo something you've done. So why not take the time? Why not build something, put it out to market, test it. Build something else, put it out to market, test it. Bootstrap. Don't buy fancy, expensive things. Everybody likes our office. It costs us 300,000 shillings to put it together. All these pieces of wood, we cut ourselves. My friend Pato did the print. Paul and I are measuring with masking tape on the bottom. We built this by hand. We have a wood guy called Wambua who comes and checks to make sure nothing is being eaten by termites. Because we're keeping our costs low. But a lot of people, you give them 3 million, they buy a car for 2.9 million, and then they spend 100,000 on overheads. It's ridiculous. So a lot of the time, what people don't understand is there's nothing like an overnight success.
So what's wrong with us?
Impatience, microwave generation. We're trying to throw something in a microwave and pull out a stack of money. That doesn't work. And this is why nobody raises capital. Because somebody comes and asks you, how long have you been doing this for?
Yeah.
I started last month.
6 months.
6
3
months. If you come and tell me you have a business less than 2 years and you're not making revenue, I'm not even going to look at you twice.
Are you making revenue?
We are. But the kind of revenue we're making compared to the kind of money we raised is stupid. It's negligible.
Yeah.
But then we
But you
know...
have proof of concept.
That's exactly right. We know that if I scale this from 10 people to 10,000 people, I logarithmically increase my revenue. So then in that case, I'm not even going to stress. I know I can make money. The challenge is not making money. The challenge is in 5 years, we will still be here.
What happens to your day-to-day? You see, the thing is, I'm still 7 years. So I'm like, you need to eat. You have kids, Tonee.
Yeah.
You have children.
So you better be very ready to get into this.
So what does that even mean?
Financial planning that is from outside this planet. You prepare yourself. One of the biggest challenges for entrepreneurs globally is mental health.
Okay.
And people don't talk about it because most entrepreneurs are men. Most of the entrepreneurs I've met are men.
True.
But there's a lot of women in the game as well.
Yeah.
The responsibilities for a man and a woman are different, but the pressures are the same. At the end of the day, you have to go home with food on the table, fuel in the car, school fees for the kids. You have to do all those things. And
So
a lot of the time,
how have you coped?
anybody who tells you they have is lying. I've raised a lot of money, 56 million
Dollars.
shillings. Dollars is,
I was going to say what?
that's 5 point, that's
Okay, yeah, that's too much. Okay, so 56
that's 500 and
million
something
shillings.
thousand.
That's a lot.
That's still a staggering amount.
It's a lot.
I mean, the 1% of the 1% of Kenyans.
Yeah, who
when
raised
it
that kind
comes
of
to raising
money.
that kind of money,
Yeah, 56 million. For a startup.
For a startup. And what you do is you plan it out so that you can be able to pay for all these things. Most of these don't even go to the Kenyan.
No, but I want to
place.
backtrack, sorry, to, you're talking about entrepreneurs and men having issues with mental health.
Yeah.
Can we talk about that a little bit?
In fact, that's where I'm going. And so what you do is you plan it out in such a way that everything that needs to work, works, but most of the time, you're not in that equation. There's a book by Simon Sinek called Leaders Eat Last. I propose people read it. What usually happens is in a journey like this one, when you start the company and you start raising capital, you're driven by optimism and a desire to win.
Yeah.
Some in between, you're just now driven by grit and just
Yeah.
faith. Then after that, you're driven by your reputation and the need for you to just stay alive. And then at the very end, you're driven with the fact that you don't know anything else. You've been doing only this, and if you stop, you don't know what to do about it. A lot of us entrepreneurs are somewhere between the second last and the last one. And what you have to find a way of doing is building a social structure that can keep you going, knowing the vision that you started with in the beginning still matters.
Okay, so in English, what does a social structure look like?
Good friends,
okay,
good entrepreneurship friends, good mentors. Immediate family is very important. If you don't have immediate family, it's important to be able to get people in a family structure that care and love you. A lot of the times, one of the biggest strugglers or punishers, or one of the biggest victims of entrepreneurs are their spouses. And a lot of us in our space have lost our spouses in one way or the other.
How has it gone for you?
It's been hard. It's harder than most. It's been very difficult because to a great extent, Kitabu has taken that part away from me. It has ended up being the person I married and not the person I married.
That's painful.
And that's very painful because you're seeing the person in front of you, but you know their mind is not there. Because
whose mind is not there?
I am. So you're my partner, right?
So I'm seeing you.
So let's imagine you and I are married, right? You're seeing me, but you can see I'm not in my head. I'm trying to figure out Kitabu stories. I'm trying to follow up on fundraising because all these things matter because you know if I don't get funding, we don't have rent for next month and the month after and whatever. And
then we don't have rent and I need to go and buy...
You need to go buy food and you've got kids and that whole...
And then you're just dreaming about this Kitabu that is not bringing in any money.
And it's not your vision, it's mine. So it's not even your thing. It's almost like hard. It's like why are you forced? Why am I forcing you to believe in something that is yours? It's not my vision. God never gave it to me. He gave it to you. You know, that's a mindset you have towards me. So you start venting against the organization or you start not liking it or whatever. And for me, it's so ingrained in my system. It's my blood vein situation. This is me. And what you end up doing is you end up seeing people jumping off buildings, you end up seeing people losing their lives, you end up seeing people having mental breakdowns. Some of the time we even talk about suicide and forget that before you get suicide, there's something called depression. And it's not as bad because you're alive, but then it's like living in a dead soul. You know, there's a lot of empty. I know way too many, I know more people than I should who have gone through such severe depression that I pick up the phone to call them, and when they don't answer, I am genuinely scared. Because I've gone through that myself.
You have?
For a while, yeah. Because it's as successful as I have been in fundraising, you have to go through very many no's before you get a yes. Yeah. And nobody wants to be told no. And some people are ruthless when they tell you no. You're going to fail, it's a guaranteed failure. Sometimes people get even racist. You're an African, what do you know about education? Wow. It gets really mean and ugly. And if you're not able to disconnect yourself from that, you struggle.
It gets to you.
It does get, and it doesn't matter how strong you try to be. You need someone. And a lot of the times, the someones just aren't there. Most of the times, the someones just aren't there. We're all hiding. We're all trying to.
So now what does that, okay, so let me ask this, let me try and phrase this correctly. If I want to succeed as an entrepreneur, as a wife, as a mommy, is it not possible for me to do that?
For sure it's possible. I think that's a good question. But the right question is, what will it take? And the right answer is everything. And if you're not ready to sacrifice everything, then you need to really reevaluate why you're doing this. I'm a skinny guy. I'm not a very big, I'm big, I'm 85 kilograms, but I'm 6'4", so I'm
skinny.
And I remember a person I used to work with looking at me one time and thinking, the only reason I don't think you will starve to death is because there's a kitchen 10 feet or 20 meters from where you sit. Because I would get in at 8 and at 9:30 p.m. Is when I'm getting off my seat.
So you've not eaten all day?
I've not eaten, I've not gone to the restroom, I've not picked my phone.
Not even the restroom?
Nothing.
You're kidding.
I'm there because something has to get done.
So what drives you?
For different people, it's different things.
Okay.
But then it's that vision. It's that being able to see every kid in Kenya able to.
It can't be about money.
Pull out it can't. And that's the other thing. If you start a business because you're trying to make money, I guarantee that at some point you will collapse. The collapsing will be epic. The manner in which you will fail will be so epic. In 2008, we had the world's economic crisis. These were the biggest, most powerful, most intellectually capable companies in the world who ran the financial sector that got greedy. And they all didn't see this world collapse coming. Is it because they were stupid? No. Is it because they were incapable? No. It's because they were blinded by their greed. And that's the one thing greed does. Blinds you completely. So you take all your money and put it in quail eggs, thinking this is the new thing. Have you ever seen a new thing come out and win? Never does. So why are you doing that? Save some, invest some, put some in something that is meaningful, and then sit back and watch them. So if one fails, you're okay. Table has 4 legs. If one doesn't work, you can balance the table on 3. Most people just take their table and build it with 1. So to answer your question specifically, what will it take for you to win? Plan it. Plan it well. Get your husband on board. Get your friends on board. Don't just start because you're creative, and get people on board so that everybody's with you. Doesn't mean that they will stick with you, but they will see where it started. So when it starts, somebody can hold your hand and say, it's okay. You'll be fine. The problem is when you go to bed, look at the ceiling, and you're alone because you've lost everyone because they never bought into you in the first place.
Do you debrief with somebody?
Sometimes. Yeah, sometimes. A lot of the times, sometimes. Not a lot of the times.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, okay. I'm done being deep and heavy.
Dr. Phil.
This is Rina Hicks. You are watching All Access, where we give you an all-access pass to leaders and entrepreneurs. I'm with Tonee Ndung'u from Kitabu, and I hope you've enjoyed and learned something from that amazing conversation. If you have any questions on entrepreneurship, on leadership, please post them on my timeline or in my inbox, or send us a message on 0707-633-433, and we shall be sure.
Wait, say that now again. 07?
0707
0707
633
633
433.
433.
Yes.
Cool. Got it.
Take care and have a wonderful, wonderful time. Bye.